Imagine standing at the top of the world, not in modern-day snow and silence, but in a late Cretaceous wilderness buzzing with life beneath auroras. That's where Nanukosaurus reigned. Unlike the tropical jungles where its cousins thrived, this predator ruled Alaska's ancient northern coast, a place of frigid winters, 6-month nights, and unexpected ecological richness. This was no accidental visitor. Nanukosaurus wasn't just surviving here, it was thriving, a true native of the north. Its very name, polar bear lizard, is a nod to its chilling domain. And while most people imagine tyrannosaurs lumbering through humid swamps, Nanukosaurus flipped that image on its frosty head. With each thunderous step through snow-dusted conifers and windswept tundra, it chased prey across icy riverbeds and twilight forests. Few predators have adapted so completely to such an extreme environment. It wasn't just the cold or the darkness, it was the isolation. This was a forgotten kingdom, and Nanukosaurus was its ghostly monarch, hunting in a world closer to the Arctic Circle than to Jurassic Park. While Tyrannosaurus rex stole the headlines with its crushing bite and Hollywood-sized frame, Nanukosaurus played a subtler game. It was smaller, estimated at around 6 meters long, roughly half the length of T-Rex. But that wasn't a flaw, it was design. A lighter build meant better agility across icy, uneven terrain. Think Arctic wolf, not jungle lion. It could move swiftly through snowfields, ducking between conifers and skirting frozen riverbanks, where its heavier cousins might have slipped or sunk. Paleontologists believe its bones were more gracile, hinting at a predator built less for brute force and more for endurance and precision. And here's the twist: feathers. Though no direct fossil of Nanukosaurus shows plumage, it's likely it sported a coat of insulating feathers, like many of its theropod relatives. Imagine a shaggy, sharp-toothed killer, cloaked in downy warmth. Part bird, part monster, all survivalist. This wasn't just a tyrannosaur relocated north. It was a distinct species, sculpted by eons of Arctic winters into something leaner, keener, and altogether colder in every sense. Now, let's talk dinner. Hunting in a polar world isn't just about chasing down the weak. It's about when you chase them. For Nanukosaurus, the calendar mattered almost as much as the claws. During the brief Arctic summer, the landscape teemed with prey. Herds of hadrosaurs like Edmontosaurus grazed in droves, and armored nodosaurs rumbled through underbrush. But come winter, darkness swallowed the land, temperatures plunged, and many herbivores either migrated or hunkered down, vanishing from the open. So, how did Nanukosaurus cope? One theory suggests seasonal hunting shifts. In summer, it could ambush from forested cover under perpetual daylight. In winter, it may have resorted to scavenging frozen carcasses or hunting smaller prey, maybe even digging for hibernating mammals or ambushing sheltering dinos weakened by the cold. It might have used the terrain itself, snowdrifts, ice shelves, rocky outcrops, to its advantage, becoming more than a predator, a strategist in a constantly shifting game of survival. This wasn't brute force. This was calculated adaptation, a tyrannosaur with a calendar in its DNA. In the Arctic, sunlight is a seasonal visitor. So, what do you do when your world is half lit, half of the year? If you're Nanukosaurus, you evolve eyes that thrive in the dark. Though we don't have its soft tissues, the shape and size of its skull suggest a predator with keen visual adaptations. The eye sockets are relatively large, hinting at a heightened reliance on sight, especially in low light. In modern predators, this often correlates with enhanced night vision. Could Nanukosaurus have hunted under the eerie green shimmer of the aurora borealis? Quite possibly. Some paleontologists suspect it developed vision similar to that of modern owls or big cats, high rod cell density, giving it an edge during twilight or polar night hunts. Add in a possible reflective tapetum, like a wolf's glowing eyes at night, and you have the makings of a formidable nocturnal hunter. In a land ruled by darkness, this tyrannosaur wasn't stumbling blind. It may have owned the night, a ghost in the trees, a flash of feathers and teeth in a world where most creatures slept. We know Nanukosaurus existed, but just barely. Its entire species was identified from a handful of fossils, a partial skull, a few teeth, and some scrappy fragments dug from the permafrost of northern Alaska. Blink and you'd miss it in the fossil record. But Oh, what a story those scraps tell. The partial skull was first uncovered in the 2000s, and though small, it was distinct enough to declare a new species. Its teeth were sharp and serrated, built for slicing, not crushing, suggesting a fast, precise kill style. These weren't the bone-snapping jaws of T-Rex. This was finesse. Even more haunting, tracks. A few scattered faint impressions in sediment suggest that Nanukosaurus walked ancient Arctic floodplains, likely following prey or shadowing herds through snowmelt muck. These footprints, half erased by time, hint at a quiet terror gliding across the ice. It's a detective story, with barely any clues, but those traces, frozen in place for 70 million years, offer a chilling whisper from a time when shadows moved through snow. And the top predator was one we almost forgot. Nanukosaurus may have ruled the frozen forests, but it didn't rule alone. Its kingdom was crowded with cold-adapted dinosaurs that rewrote what we thought we knew about the Cretaceous world. This wasn't some barren ice field. It was a thriving seasonal ecosystem full of surprises. Take Ugrunaaluk kukpikensis, a duck-billed herbivore that lived in massive herds. These plant eaters didn't just migrate. They lived in the Arctic year-round, enduring months of snow and darkness. Their young may have even grown faster than normal, cramming development into the narrow window of summer abundance. Then there were the nodosaurs, armored tanks trudging through the underbrush with spiked tails and bony backs, practically invincible to most predators. But perhaps not to a nimble Nanukosaurus working in packs. And don't forget the towering hadrosaurs, or the occasional mystery species, giants we barely have names for, each shaped by freezing nights and fleeting daylight. This wasn't the Jurassic jungle we grew up imagining. It was the Cretaceous North, where dinosaurs adapted, endured, and flourished in a world of extremes. And Nanukosaurus stood at the center, a predator honed by cold and competition. For all its icy resilience and winter-born cunning, Nanukosaurus couldn't outlast the ultimate cold. Around 66 million years ago, the sky itself turned against Earth. An asteroid slammed into what is now Mexico, unleashing a chain reaction that blanketed the globe in ash, firestorms, and, eventually, a long, lightless winter. Even for a predator already adapted to dark, freezing conditions, this was different. The plants died first, then the herbivores, and finally the predators, starved out in a world stripped of sunlight. For Nanukosaurus, whose world already danced on the edge of survival each season, there was simply no room for error. No human ever saw this creature. It vanished millions of years before our kind walked upright. And yet its frozen remains, buried in Alaskan rock and permafrost, offer one last glimpse of life in a forgotten polar empire. A place where dinosaurs thrived under the northern lights, until the lights went out for good. A ghost ruler of a vanished world, its reign ended not with conquest, but with quiet extinction. Ultimately, the arrival of humans marked the end of an era for these magnificent isolated ecosystems. A world of giant, often flightless creatures and fragile biodiversity, unprepared for sudden change, faded into memory, leaving behind traces in bone, myth, and cautionary echoes about the power of our presence. If you enjoyed this journey to the icy edge of the dinosaur world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our deep dive into Deinosuchus, the crocodile that ate dinosaurs. Until next time, stay curious.